Thanksgiving to all my wonderful neighbors down in the United States of America, the great country of the United States. Happy Thanksgiving to you. In Canada, we celebrate Thanksgiving in October. Not sure why that is, but we just do. Oh, that's a funny looking fry. Wow. So I got some chicken, biscuit gravy, fries. Got myself a DR.PEPPER and an apple pie. Got an apple pie right here. Now, Leon Redbone. Redbone or chicken bone? That is the question. This album right here. On the Track. Very first album that I ever bought by Leon Redbone. And the very first album he ever put out. I bought that when I was in high school. Now, give me a minute here. Wow. Holy guacamole, man. Here we go. Now, you might be wondering why I'm profiling somebody like Leon Redbone. Perhaps you never heard of him. His real name is Dick Ran Gabolian. Not sure if I pronounced that right. Dick Ran Gabolian. He was born in Cyprus in 1949. Passed away in 2019. Age 69. Now, I'll take you back to about 1975. Good gravy. I'm still in high school. Man, that's some crispy chicken. Now, I'm in high school, and back then, I always got the spicy extra crispy. They always cook it fresh too. Well, I thought I had a fine looking French fry. Look at that. Oh, look at that skin. Wow. I saw that on the news yesterday. Some guy ordered 4 chicken burgers from KFC in Vancouver. And we got home, they were still raw. Oh, gosh. Anyways, 1975, I'm in high school. Still living at home. Now back then, I was totally into, rock bands. Pink Floyd, Uriah Heep, whatever. I would stay up and watch these TV shows called Midnight Special, Don Kirshner's Rock Concert, and In Concert, which was live. And I would always watch those shows. I'd see all kinds of bands out there that a lot of them I'd never heard of, and that's how I got to know them, was, like bands like Black Oak, Arkansas, different bands like that. Sparks, Focus, Now, earlier that year, I bought my first Bob Dylan record. My sister bought the single, Knock on Heaven's Door. No, Lay Lady Lay. A couple years earlier, but I bought in '62, and I remember her turning up the radio, and I was listening to it then. Despite the fact that I was well aware of who he was, I never really listened to him. This is some killer chicken, let me tell you. The reason I mention this about Bob Dylan is because my tastes were starting to expand a bit. I still love rock bands, rock bands, progressive rock bands, whatever. I was still listening to the Doors, but I was starting to develop an appreciation for it. Single artist. Oh my! Lost the French fry. So, one night I'm watching Saturday Night Live. I'm pretty sure it was Saturday Night Live. And they introduced this guy named Redbone. Never heard of him. Heard of the guy. Know nothing about him. So he comes on, he's sitting in a chair, spotlight on him. It's got on like a Panama hat or fedora hat or something. I think he was wearing an all-white suit. And he's just sitting back, playing his guitar, sunglasses. And he's singing these old tunes in a very convincing style, a very convincing voice. I mean, this record here has songs like Polly Wolly Doodle All the Day on it, which of course we've all heard. But you do songs like Ain't Misbehavin'. You do a lot of stuff by Irving Berlin, who once again, Irving Berlin was somebody I'd heard of but knew nothing about. So I watched this guy. Can't remember exactly which tunes he played that night, but I was fascinated. Here was a guy who sounded so authentic. It was like, where's this guy from? I mean, I had seen a lot of different artists and that sort of thing. Like I said, I was starting to develop a taste for, single artists, that kind of stuff. But this guy was so different. Now in '76, he would have been about 26 years old. But he was doing music long before his time. Like I said, very convincing. Somebody in the media early in his career described Redbone. They said when you listen to Leon Redbone, I forget the exact quote, but it was like, you could almost hear the surface noise of the stylus on the '78 record. That's how authentic he sounded. And I thought that summed it up perfectly. Because he sounded like somebody off an old '78 record, with like those old big horns on it or something, just so different. An old phonograph record. was. But he really seemed genuine. Now, because, when you're that age, 8 years is a big difference, so he seemed quite a bit older than me. Now, at my age, if I saw him now, at that age, coming out and doing that kind of music, I would think, well, that's cute, but not very convincing. But yet, the older you got, the more genuine it became. It's kind of like doing material. Yeah. It's hard to pass it off when you're younger, but as you get older, it becomes more convincing because you're now living that material. You're living that lifestyle. You have that experience behind you of that. Well, you have a lot of living under your belt at that point once you're middle-aged. Now, don't get me wrong. He was still very good at what he did. Still very good. Now he was born in Cyprus. His family moved to London, I think, in 1961. Ended up in Toronto in 1965. He's on the streets busking. I guess he was honing his character. And he had changed his name because Leon Redbone was not his name, like I mentioned earlier. Dick Gabolian was the name he was born with. But he quickly established himself in the Toronto music scene. Playing really good. His style of music. And like Bob Dylan, he kind of invented this persona. Like Bob Dylan, early in his career, told people that he rode the rails just like Woody Guthrie and ran away with the carnival and that kind of stuff. He was very evasive about his real past. Leon Redbone was pretty much the same way. So it creates that enigma, that mystique, about an artist, which can be very clever. So in 1972, Redbone gets a bit of a break. He's performing at the Mariposa Folk Festival in Toronto, and Bob Dylan's performing, as is Gordon Lightfoot and a bunch of other people. And he meets Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan is very impressed with his performance. And later in a Rolling Stone magazine interview, Dylan would say that he would mention Leon Redbone, how impressed he was, and that if he had his own record label, he would sign him. So of course, people were curious about that. Who's this Leon Redbone that Dylan's talking about? Now, if you get a shout out from Dylan, chances are people will pay attention. So, that started to help his career along a little bit. Certainly didn't hurt it any. So he starts getting more and more work all the time. I believe Lorne Michaels or somebody who's also Canadian had heard about Redbone, and he saw him perform and said, we gotta get this guy on Saturday Night Live. So they got him on there, and right after that, of course, his career takes off. And that was when I saw him, was on Saturday Night Live. He'd later do the theme for Mr. Belvedere. He would do a lot of voiceovers. He'd record a lot of albums. To this day, the only album I have is that one there. It's my favorite. I've heard some of his other stuff. Now, I have to tell you, his music is not headbanging music. It's not dance music. It's not rock and roll. If you listen to that, you think, what is Mark talking about? Like, really, who is this guy? To be honest, even when I sit down to listen to an album, to sit there and just listen to it, it's all kind of the same. It's very slow. I can only listen to it for so long. Now, this is the type of record that if I was busy working on a project, let's say I was building something, I put that on just as background music. I can listen to both sides, put on the record, flip it over, listen to the other side, whatever, no problem. And I'll honestly tell you, I don't know if I could have sat to one of his concerts, sometimes things are just a little too slow. But what fascinated me about Leon Redbone was just there was nobody like him. Nobody. I've never seen anybody that does the same thing or is like that at all. Willie Nelson's recorded a lot of Irving Berlin's tunes, stuff like that, Ain't Misbehaving and different songs like that. But Redbone did Lazy Bones, stuff like that. My Blue. What was that song? Anyway, Big Chief Buffalo Nickel. My Blue Heaven, that's the name of My Blue Heaven. And, lots of songs like that. But he did this song by Irving Berlin called Marie, which is really a cool song. Actually, I'll sing it for you, okay? It goes like this. Marie, the dawn is breaking. Marie, you'll soon be waking to find your heart is breaking. Tears will fall as you recall the moon in all its splendor, the kiss so very tender, the words, will you surrender to me, my Marie? That was a song called Marie, and I love the way Redbone does it. It's on this album here. It's really good. Did you notice when I was singing that I closed my eyes for that extra dramatic effect? Good thing I wasn't wearing sunglasses. You'd have missed it. I can take a bite out of my microphone. Oh. It's a good thing I didn't take a bite out of that microphone. Would have sounded like a beaver gnawing on a steel pipe. Now, as I was saying, I don't know if I could have sat through one of Redbone's concerts. Incidentally, there's also a band, a rock band from the 70s called Redbone. They were some indigenous young Ireland guys who started a band called Redbone. They had a hit on the radio, Come and Get Your Love. But Leon Redbone, so different. When I was working in a logging camp, after I left high school, I went to work in a logging camp. I put on Leon Redbone. My room partner just hated it. He loved his BTO, and which is fine. I mean, I like BTO too. But some people, and I was there myself, you get locked into just that certain genre of music, and you don't want to listen to anything else. And for a while, I've been listening to different stuff. Like I was getting into bluegrass and more stuff like that. Now, I've seen some. I remember seeing the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band in concert, and I was worried that it might be kind of slow and boring, but they were very professional, very entertaining, very funny, very, very good. The time went very quick, believe me. But I honestly don't know if I could have sat through a Leon Redbone concert. Maybe 5 or 6 songs, but I've not ever heard of a band called Cowboy Junkies. They're kind of like the ASMR of music. Boy, they'll put you to sleep. I'm really mowing down on this chicken. Cowboy Junkies, I can listen to a little bit, one or two, and that's about it. And even Leon Redbone, just to sit down and listen to one of his records. If I'm on the internet editing pictures or doing something, I could have it on in the background. Because background music is one thing. But sitting down and just listening to that straight away is another. They got the crispiest chicken in town. Now, I haven't listened to Leon Redbone in ages. But of all the artists I've seen over the years and decades, he is one of the most original. It's almost like he built himself a time machine. It's almost like he built himself a time machine back at the turn of the century and catapulted himself into, the 70s and just kept going after that, you know. His whole style of dressing, you know, the way he dressed. You know, a white suit, Panama hat, you know, dark glasses. He'd have a cane sometimes as a prop. Very good guitar player, very skilled. I saw him one time, picture of him wearing a conductor's hat, you know, a train conductor, smoking a cigar. Actually, I think it's on the back of this album too. I've seen pictures of him. One time he's wearing a pith helmet and a white suit. He looked like he was, you know, overseeing his plantation somewhere. Very interesting character. He's one of these people. If you got to know him, you may discover he's not at all like his persona, or like you thought he would be. I don't know that for sure, I'm just kind of guessing. Should have brought a fork with me. I didn't have any turkey, so I figured chicken would be the next best thing for Thanksgiving. Last night I watched TV. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles was on TV. It's always on this time of year. I love that movie. I've seen it so many times, I'll never get tired of it. And the final scene at the train station chokes me up every time. My ex used to cry all the time. And when that was over, Trading Places with Eddie Murphy, Dan Aykroyd came on. I saw it. That movie's made in '83. I saw it when it first came out. Dan Aykroyd was so young. But I only saw it once. So I kind of thought, well, I'll give it a look. I really enjoyed it. Ralph Bellamy and Don Amici are so good in that movie. I've got a lot of Christmas shopping done. I like to get out there before it's too crazy. And I order a lot of stuff on Amazon too. eat my apple pie. I have to save it for later. Now if you go to Spotify, you can check out Redbone. I would suggest you try this album. It's called On the Track. His first album, On the Track. It's got a picture of a frog in a train and a little cricket picking his teeth with a carpet tag. I think that's a lyric from the song. But the song I sang for you, Marie, give that a listen. Or Ain't Misbehavin'. Big Chief Buffalo Nickel. You know, kind of funny. I think Redbone probably has a sense of humor, you know. I get that impression. Oh, I'm having problems picking this up. He passed away from dementia, like I said, in 2019. Before his 70th birthday. I was very sad when I heard that. Wow. Well, I don't think I can do it, my friends. They give you way too many fries. So, to all my amazing friends south of the border, I hope you have a wonderful and safe, happy Thanksgiving. You know, Thanksgiving is all about family. It's just wonderful. It's a wonderful time. So, happy Thanksgiving to all of you. If you're expecting a shout out, you may have to wait a week or two because I'm recording my videos ahead of time like I always do. Excuse me. I have to do that because it's a very busy time of year right now. And Linda, excuse me, even though Linda's feeling better, she can't do any heavy lifting for 3 months or can't stretch her. So I have to give her hand to the grandkids, that sort of thing. Not that I mind, but just so you know, and that's another thing. If you don't see me respond to your comments, it's because I am quite busy at the time, but I will get to them. Like I said, I'm busy helping Linda with the kids and that sort of thing, so it may take me a couple days to respond to your comments as well. So in the meantime, my friends, you look after yourselves, look after each other. Enjoy your Thanksgiving turkey. And to anyone else who celebrates Thanksgiving this time of year, all the best to you. So you look after yourselves, and we'll see you next time, okay? Bye now. I promise I'll eat this later when you're not looking.